Good morning, everyone. Okay, we'll continue our book reading this morning. Toyota Way to Service Excellence by Jeffrey K. Leica and Karen Ross. We are in chapter 5, still looking at macro process principle. The last time we looked at the role of process principle and we looked at how this process principle can be best practiced and how they can help an organization or help a company to achieve lean process in their daily activities. The first thing or the first principles that are best to achieve whatever you want to achieve is the ACDP. That is the act. The PDCA. That is the plan, do, check, and act. And what this plan, do, check, and act help you do is that it helps you envision the future state. Secondly, it helps you define a target condition. And the third thing is that it helps you define counter measures. So process principles, that is the PDCA, they are the best practices that helps mostly when you want to identify challenges and also identify or a target condition and also bring up ideas that you can use for experiments in your planning phase. So still on chapter 5, page 146, we'll be looking at principle 2, which says deeply understand customer need. Deeply understand customer need. So understanding customer need is not just a surface thing. So today we'll be looking at how to deeply understand customers' needs. And we'll be looking at Menlo innovation, creating joy for customers. Creating joy for customers. So when I think of a customer-centered organization, Menlo innovation immediately comes to mind. I have visited hundreds of service organizations with some type of lean progress, but Menlo is as close to a service organization that practices Toyota Way principle as I have seen. And the company knows almost nothing about Toyota when it formed its system. In fact, one of the founders, Richard Sheridan, learned about me when he was presenting about Menlo at a conference in California. And an associate told him about the Toyota Way. Richard became excited and wanted to meet me only to learn we both live in Ann Arbor, Michigan. We became fast friends. Menlo's Innovation LLC is a custom software design and development firm for hire located in Ann Arbor. If you go to the company's website, you'll see its funky and very personal mission. Our mission as an organization is to end human suffering in the world as it relates to technology. For our clients, we do this by creating software that is widely and adopted and enjoyably used by their intended end users. We do this through a unique set of practice that includes high-tech anthropology, paired programming, and working in an open collaborative environment. Within our organization, we achieve this mission by intentionally choosing to create a culture founded on the business value of joy. Richard explains that Menlo focuses on the key stakeholders who are often poorly treated in the software business. Number 1, software project sponsors who traditionally have had little hope of steering projects to a successful conclusion before money and executive patience are exhausted. Number 2, end users of the software who far too often had no voice at all in the design and yet must ultimately live every day with decisions of people who know little about them. Number 3, the software teams themselves who typically labor under years of overtime, missed vacations and family celebrations, and broken relationships and unrealistic expectations only to have many of the projects they work on never see the light of day. Menlo, a small but growing firm by 2016, was up to 70 people, has cast a long shadow on the software development industry. On a typical day, one might see tour groups from 5 different countries. A Fortune 100 company that has set a team to go through a several-day workshop on the Menlo system, and customers lingering in the offices working with Melonians, as they call themselves. There are remarkable aspects to Menlo's culture that we will discuss in Chapter 7. For a detailed description of its system for customer engagement, software development, and the development of a deliberate culture built on collaboration and learning, read Richard Sheridan's Joy Incorporated. At Menlo, the customer experience starts with a discussion with the customer about the possibilities of working together. The initial discussion can be pretty straightforward if the customers are already familiar with Menlo's different approach of software development, or rather, odd for the customers if they are not. As Michael Porter says, a real strategy includes what you will not do. Sorry, I'll take that again. As Michael Porter says, a real strategy includes what you will not do. There are certain givens that the customer must accept, or they are not suitable partners. They must pay for a pair of high-tech anthropologists. 2, they must pay for pairs of software programmers who will be rotated every week. 3, they must be active participants in a collaborative learning process, including weekly meetings to review the work completed in the prior 5 days. 4, they must pay for an upfront stage of developing their requirements before they get a price estimate. A customer who says no to any of these 4 conditions will not be a customer. And Menlo will even recommend competitors as service providers. Secretly, the Melonians will be thinking, "You'll be back." They specify these conditions not to be stubborn or belligerent, or belligerent, but because it is the only way they know to achieve their mission of a joyful experience for all. So this is where we're stopping from our reading this morning, and it says, creating joy for customers. Creating joy for customers. So an organization that is customer-centered will want to make every process or every experience a customer has a memorable one. So it was telling us about the Melonians, as they call themselves, telling us their story of how they are customer-centric and how they tend to, carry out these processes. First of all, starting with their vision, which I'm going to read again. The Melonians' vision said, "Our vision as an organization is to end human suffering in the world as it relates to technology. For our clients, we do this by creating software that is widely adopted and enjoyably used by their intended user. We do this through a unique set of practices that include high-tech anthropology, paired programming, and working in an open and collaborative environment. Within an organization, we achieve this mission by intentionally choosing to create culture founded on business value of joy." So this is the mission and the vision of the Melon's organization. And who are their target audience, or who are their target customers? They have 3 sets of people who they target. One is the software project sponsor, who traditionally have had little hope of steering projects to a successful conclusion before money and executive patients are exhausted. The second set of customers are the targets are end users of the software who far too often have no voice at all in the design, and you must ultimately live every day with decisions of people who know little about them. Then the third target is the software team themselves, who typically labor under years of overtime, missed vacation and family celebration, and broken relationship and unrealistic expectation, only to have many of the projects they work on never see the light of the day. So the Melonians focuses on customer satisfaction, bringing joy to the customer. It's not just about their external customers, it's also about their internal customers. And we can see that reflecting in the third, number three target, where it's focused on the software teams themselves. So how do they get to, get these customers? How do they get to identify these people that wants to become partner with them? To identify these people, identify that they are suitable partners and they are people that they can work with, they tend to put in some conditions in places that they know that their other competitors do not have in place. And one of these conditions is that if you want to become a partner of the Melons or the Melonians, you must pay a high tech fee to become an anthropologist, and they must pay for some pairs of software programs, and they must act as participant and and collaborate in the learning process and stuff like that. They must also attend meeting, pay up front and some things. So to become one of their partners, or to know that, how they know that this person is someone who can work with, or is a perfect customer, or is a perfect example, or is a perfect example of a partner, these are the conditions that are laid down to join them. So all these things come with giving the customers joy. So all these conditions are the conditions the customer must be able to fulfill, even if they want to create value for that customer. So this is just a brief summary of our reading for today. Thank you.